Hey, welcome back. In the previous video, we were able to generate this page from our existing Excel. So we have two options here. We can either group based on the product or country or the segment. So for the purpose of this video, um, uh, I've opened the Excel here. Let me just show you in detail. So there are there are six categories. You can do it based on segment, and there's also six categories, categories. You can do it based on products. That's totally up to you, or you can also do it based on the discount band. So how you want to do it is totally up to you. For the purpose of this video, let's actually do it based on the segment because that seems like a lot easier to do here. So we are going to take small business. We're going to take all the five categories that are listed here in our code. So I also ran this to see the code, see the keys here. The key that we have here is segment. So we are going to do it based on segment in our code. So let's get started with this. So I'll comment of the print code later. So in this, I'm going to use something called so the first category I'm interested in is enterprise, right? So let me call it df underscore enterprise will be equal to df of df of df, and in this the category we are interested in is I have to go here and copy this. Okay, I just copied that here. So we are going to be doing it based on segment. Okay, so this will be segment, and now we need to do ease in, and let's close this, and underneath it within this braces we do need the category. So let me go to a place here and let me copy enterprise. Okay, you can also use, if you don't want to use ease in, you can use like and other one. So that's totally up to you, but I'm not so here if I just do so let me just run this to see if this works as expected. Okay, so this one is working, and just to see our filtering is working, so let me print this one here. And okay, so let me go back to this page. So we are only now able to get 100 rows. The total number of rows here are much larger than this, so there are some 1700 odd rows here. So here we are now only getting enterprise one. The idea why we are doing is we'll have an index page which will point us to each of these subsegments. If you click on it, only the subsegment data will be visible to you. So that's what we are trying to build in this follow-up series, and let's get back to that here. So that's the first part, and since we have six categories, so I'll just copy paste this. We need six entries. Cool, right? So we have 1 2 3 4 5 6, and the first one is done here, which is government, and the second one is channel partners. So let me go to that channel partners. Okay, here I have channel partners, and for this let me call it df of cp to represent channel partners, and mid market. So let me copy paste it here. We are gonna call this mm to represent mid market, and similarly, so we are done with enterprise, mid market, and channel partners. So we have government and small business. So let me go into the next category where we have government here. Let me call it GOV, and so I should have 1 2 3 4 5. The other one is small business. It's easy to call it SB here. So I have this one here, and I will be calling this SB. And after we do this, so here, so our get data now has all the data, and after they are done, so let's call, instead of get data, let's call this get data and gen HTML. So our job is also to generate HTML. So let me call this get data and gen HTML as this one here. And after they are done, I think we have already done this in the past one here. So I will give this as the input, and I will call this, so we are gonna call this enterprise.html, and we can also call this enterprise.html. So we don't need the view browser, we are gonna comment it off later. But in this, whatever we are generating, we just want to view it. It's showing up as expected here. That's why I have them here for the moment. And here, let's call this channel partner, right? So yeah, let's do it CP here. No, not this one. Yeah, so let's do this CP, and we can call it cp.html, or if you want a better naming convention, you can call it channel partners.html. That's up to you. So let me do this to one more time. Okay, after this one, let's do and let's call mm.html, and let's call mm.html, and after this one, it should be gov, and let's call this gov.html, and I'm gonna call this gov.html. Okay, and let's go back and run this to see if our HTML generation works. Cool. So the first one we are able to generate is the government. So now our master list is now subdivided into just government, and you have roughly around 300 entries of government, and similarly mid-market we have about 100 entries, and channel partners we have about how many? Yeah, roughly 100, and enterprise we have about roughly 2 pages, I guess. Yeah, 1 page about this one, and yeah, and I think we also covered the small business, right? No, I don't think we did the small business. So I also have to do the small business in the next one, and let's do that here. And in gf.gov sp, so similar to gov, let's do small business sp. Here also let's call it sp, and here also let's call it sp. And after we do this and rerun the program, so you will have all this data here. Cool. So we are now able to generate all the data. So let me close all of them. And let's head back to, let me go to that page, give me a minute. So I am just trying to go into my demo Flask here. So if you see this page, we have all the renders here. So let's copy paste it, Or the other best task to do is whenever you write it, you can relatively write it in the template directory, so you don't have to copy it. I'm just validating each one of them before I do it. So this covers this one. And in the next video, we are now gonna look at updating our render HTML to include all the methods for this, and also do an index.html with bootstrap to have an index for all the other functions and all the other hyperlinks to them in a table, so that you can, from the main page, you can access each individual group. We'll do that in the next video. Thank you for joining.